Funny how things work. Hey, even though they followed the same philosophy, Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, the most powerful man in Rome, and Epictetus was born a slave. That already tells you a lot, doesn't it? It shows that Stoicism isn't just for the rich or powerful. It's for anyone who wants to find more calm on the inside, even when everything outside is a mess. Now tell me, have you ever had one of those days where everything seems to go wrong and your mind's just a complete mess? Yeah, the Stoics believed that real happiness comes when we learn how to keep our minds steady, even in the middle of the chaos. If you want to learn how to live with more peace, like having a calm and steady mind even when life gets wild, stick around till the end of this video. We are breaking this into 3 parts. First, we'll talk about what Epictetus thought and how he handled life. Then, we'll take a look at how Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, dealt with challenges with real wisdom. And finally, I'll show you 3 simple exercises you can start using today to bring more calm into your mind. Oh, and if it's your first time here, welcome. Here we talk about Stoicism in a down-to-earth way. No fluff, no complicated stuff, just real ideas you can actually use in your life. So go ahead, give this video a like, drop a comment down below with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you want to help more people find this kind of peaceful mindset too. Alright, let's get into it. Part 1. Epictetus. Epictetus was the kind of person who lived what he taught. Just imagine, he was born a slave, didn't have much luxury at all, but he still spoke about how peace of mind matters way more than fame, money, or looks. To him, the secret to calm was actually pretty simple, but powerful. Stop trying to control everything around you. Start paying attention to how you think about things. His most well-known work is called Discourses, which was actually written down by one of his loyal students, Arian. And get this, the teachings were so practical that even soldiers used to read them before heading into battle. That shows you how useful his wisdom really was, especially for people going through tough times. These writings help us deal with stress, everyday problems, and those moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. And the best part, the lessons still work today, helping you stay steady, even when life's trying to knock you off balance. First principle, act according to the moment. One day, one of his students said, "Epictetus, I'm sick. I want to go home." And Epictetus replied, "All right, go ahead. But first, ask yourself, is that really the right thing to do right now?" What he meant was, don't fight what's happening. If you're sick, no point pretending you're fine and pushing through like nothing's wrong. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is rest and take care of yourself. But there's more. Epictetus taught that even when your body's feeling weak, your mind can still make strong choices. He said, illness can affect the body, but it doesn't have to mess with your mind. Pretty powerful, right? And you know where this really helps? In arguments with family, fallouts with friends, or any kind of conflict. Because when we lose it, when we snap, say something we regret, or act on impulse, it usually makes things worse. Epictetus teaches that balance comes from avoiding 2 extremes. Don't let your emotions explode and take over. But also don't shut down and act like nothing matters. The goal is to respond with calm and understanding, to choose the best action in the moment. He called this acting in line with nature, accepting what's happening and responding with wisdom. Second principle, pay attention to how you think. This one's gold. Epictetus said it's not the things themselves that hurt us, it's the way we think about them. Think about it. 2 people go through the exact same situation, but they react in totally different ways. One freaks out, the other stays calm. Why? Because they interpreted the situation differently. Epictetus invites you to take a closer look at your thoughts. He'd say, you feel fear or anger because you believed it was something bad. But is it really? Or is that just the way you saw it? Each of us wears a kind of mental lens, like glasses, through which we see the world. Sometimes that lens is dirty or foggy, and it makes us see everything in a twisted way. Then we suffer over stuff that might not even be worth all that stress. So next time something gets you angry, upset, or anxious, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this really that serious? Am I maybe blowing this out of proportion? What's actually in my control right now? Because once you change the way you think, your feelings change too. And that changes everything. Think about this with me. Sometimes we carry around a huge sadness or anger because we believed things should have been different. Like, a lot of people spend their whole lives suffering because they didn't have loving or present parents. And yeah, it's totally normal to feel that way. But check out what Epictetus said about it. He used to say that we have the right to have parents, but we don't have the power to choose what kind of people they are. Their personality, their choices, the way they treated us, that's outside of our control. Pretty heavy, right? And that's where the shift in mindset happens. If we can't control it, why do we keep holding on to the pain? This idea applies to heaps of things in life. How many times do we hurt ourselves because we expect people to be something they are just not? And then Epictetus drops this line that feels like a gentle slap to the face. What upsets people is not what happens to them, but the judgment they place on it. In other words, it's not the event itself that hurts, it's what we think about it. Now think of tough moments. You lose your job, go through a breakup, feel like your family doesn't care about you. Those things sting. But the way we interpret them changes everything about how we feel. If we can look at them with more clarity, more grounded thinking, we are able to deal with it better, and most importantly, move forward even stronger. And here's where we land on one of the core Stoic ideas. Stop focusing on what you can't control. Right at the start of Epictetus' handbook, he introduces this brilliant idea called the dichotomy of control. Sounds fancy, but it's actually really simple. There are things we can control, and there are things we can't control. Wisdom is about focusing only on what is in our control, and letting the rest go. But let's be honest, we humans love to try and control everything, don't we? We want to control what people think of us, how the world sees us, whether we'll be loved, respected, appreciated. We chase money, beauty, power, status, smarts. But none of that actually gives us real control. Sure, we can influence things, but we can't command them. And here's the message from Epictetus. What you really control is your mind, your thoughts, your choices. And that is pure gold. So instead of losing sleep trying to predict everything or please everyone, how about flipping that mindset? Start paying more attention to what's going on inside you, how you react to things, what thoughts you're feeding, what stories you're telling yourself. And don't worry, that doesn't mean you need to become some sort of isolated monk or stop caring about the world. Not at all. In fact, the Stoics were very social. They believed in helping, in being involved, in contributing to the world. What they didn't do was stress over what they couldn't control. They had what we might call today a healthy indifference. That means, I see what's going on. I understand what I can or can't do about it, and I don't let it mess with my peace. This is where a beautiful concept comes in, called amor fati, which in Latin means love of fate. That is, to accept what happens, even the stuff you didn't want, with an open and grateful heart. It might sound hard, but when you manage to do that, you know what happens. You stop fighting life, and you start flowing with it. Like saying, all right life, this isn't what I hoped for, but I'll make the best of it. And that's one of the most powerful messages of Stoicism. When you focus on what you can change, yourself, and let go of what you can't, everything else, you become lighter, stronger, and way more at peace.